very warm welcome on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day Run Order powered by Techno Mobiles, and the Sunrisers Hyderabad have become the first team to qualify for the last four. They are now on 18 points and did it with just some sublime ease. Shikhar Dhawan 92 not out. Kane Williamson played an incredible innings, as well as captain of Hyderabad. 188 to chase down, and they did that with an over and a ball to spare.
Oh, how good was it?
Devdas Gupta here in studio with me, and Brad Hogg as well. First of all, this was meant to be the problem area for Hyderabad, chasing down big scores. Here they are chasing down 188 without literally breaking a sweat.
Absolutely right, and with such ease. And it never looked, I mean, 188 I thought was quite a total on this pitch. But then, I mean, this is the class of these two players, I mean, Shikhar and Williamson. And it never looked like they were taking any risks or chances, no big shots, no those usual T20, you know, ramp and reverse and all that. Just the regular shots, cricketing, orthodox shots. Was absolutely brilliant, and obviously you can't take away the fact that I don't think Delhi bowlers bowled well enough on a pitch like that.
Hoggy, is that just a fine batting performance, or have Delhi faltered with the ball?
Well, it's both. It's a fine batting performance. They put the pressure on the Delhi Daredevils bowling, or should I say the damaged Daredevils. They're out the door now. They're not coming back. But it's just rotation of strike. 43 dot balls in the Delhi Daredevils batting performance, 25 in Sunrisers Hyderabad. So they're rotating the strike. Not only that, they were turning ones into twos. There are a lot of poor fielding performances out there from Delhi Daredevils. So if you want to put pressure on it, it's just not the bowlers, it's the fielders. But if you look at the batting as well, they just played those cricketing shots, but they pick the gaps and they just sort of move across the offside, and a ball that's a little straight, they'll turn it into a leg side shot where they can hit it behind square, or they'll stay in the position that they're in and they'll hit it through the covers or behind point. And the Delhi Daredevils bowlers just didn't have the answers to Sunrisers Hyderabad.
As we look at that partnership come up, one of the things you mentioned in the early bit of this coverage, you thought that the wicket wasn't actually that easy to bat on.
Yeah.
But when these guys got on it, both Dhawan used a lot more power.
Yes.
Williamson did what he usually does. But what stood out for you in that partnership? Hoggy makes a very good point about the boundary hitting. Only 6 sixes hit among that. So it isn't like they've absolutely destroyed Delhi and gotten there, and 17 fours. Your thoughts, just?
My thought, obviously, what he mentioned, the strike rotation. That is huge. I mean, if you're going to play lesser number of dot balls, obviously, you know, the strike rotation, left hand, right hand. I know it's cliched, but it does make a difference in terms of the bowling side, bowling to different batsmen all the time. And as you mentioned, I mean, they're two different kind of batsmen. Shikhar, who's a little more power oriented. You're talking about Williamson, who's more finesse and picking up the gaps and stuff like that. So I think that strike rotation is such a underrated aspect of T20 cricket, and that is something that was very noticeable. And you mentioned about bowling part, I mean, that did definitely put them off. The other thing, the lengths that they bowled. If you see, for example, Liam Plunkett was hit in the very first over for 2 cover drives, and the mid-off was inside the circle. You can't be bowling, I mean, when the pitch is double pace, it's not coming onto the bat. What is the natural length? The natural length would be a little back of length. But if you're going to bowl half volleys or half trackers, there is a problem. There wasn't any, I mean, I don't think they bowled too many slower deliveries. I believe Liam Plunkett and Bolt aren't that kind of bowlers who bowl a lot of cutters and all. So didn't see too many of them. Harshal bowled a few. He got Alex Hales off a slower one. I thought, and the spinners as well, they bowled the wrong line and length.
There was one effort though from the Delhi Daredevils that really stood out and perhaps set up this game. It came from Rishabh Pant. Let's actually look at some of the records that he broke in the course of this innings, did Rishabh Pant. It's the highest score by an Indian player in T20s.
Wow.
All of those numbers, of course, are one side of the equation. But Brad, what did you make of that batting performance? I know he got involved in a couple of very, very poor run-out calls, but just in terms of the ability he has as a batsman to clear the fence.
There's no doubt that he's got the ability, and he's going to be a big performer for India, and it's going to be interesting when he gets that opportunity to take the gloves for India in those shorter forms of the game. You know, MS Dhoni's obviously going to play for as long as he wants. He deserves that title. But this young kid, I just love the way he goes about it. His power, he plays shots all around the ground. He's very hard to bowl to. He's only young. I just like to see him run between the wickets a little better.
but he's a class act. I mean, I know he ended up on the losing side, but that does not take anything away from a fabulous innings that he played, and it just tells you how good this kid is.